the most ubiquitous question in an MBA admissions interview, which is why MBA?
What is the driver or the motivation of yours to do an MBA?
The second most important thing is the end result.
The bridge between the driver and the end result, which is basically...
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of 2 to Tango. This series is about knowing how to crack an MBA admission interviews. And in the previous video, we spoke about how to ace an interview panel. So if you haven't watched it, do check out the link above. Now this video is very important because we are going to talk about the most ubiquitous question in an MBA admissions interview, which is why MBA. And it is so common to be asked this question that it is kind of cliche to an extent, and yet not everyone has the perfect answer to it. So if you are one of those who are still scratching your head to kind of find the right answer, this is the video to watch. So please do watch it till this end. And Dave, to kind of in a true agile mode, let's try to break down this why MBA question into parts. What are your thoughts?
So Sapta, I think it's a very pertinent point, and as you said, in a more agile manner, how do we break this point of why MBA? I think we can break it up into probably three parts. I'll pick up the first one. And the first thing about why MBA question is, what is the driver or the motivation of yours to do an MBA? I think that is the most important starting point. Now, each one of us could have a very different reason of doing it. Probably, you want to do an industry change. Probably you're already hitting a glass ceiling in your current professional career and you want to probably break that up and go up and beyond. Or you probably think that your current structure of professional, gamut that you're working in, you have more depth and you need to build more breadth across various other functions and knowledges. Whatever it is your story. What is the most important thing about the driver and the motivation of doing MBA is you need to have clarity and you need to have a convincing and a coherent story. And mind it, if the reason why you want to do an MBA is because all of your friends are doing it, well, I think you need to find a better way to articulate that reason. But the most important first part is the driver and motivation of why you want to do an MBA.
So after discussing the driver, the second most important thing is the end result. Now, the mistake that we often make is we think the end result is the result right out of college. No, it is the end result that you want to achieve not only from your MBA, but the journey that you take post your MBA. That is how you define your end result. So say I'm from a manufacturing industry and my ambition is to become a CEO of a social media organization, right? You are not going to become a CEO on day one. So the way you have to articulate this is, I want to reach to that particular point. I have certain skill sets and experience in a manufacturing organization, and even manufacturing needs social media skill sets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deep dive on that knowledge through my MBA,
Yes.
Take a journey into digital marketing post my MBA, and eventually converge towards my goal. That is how you make your story coherent and you make the panel believe that you have a plan in your mind. It is just not a random end target that you are trying to reach.
So Samta, I think we talked about the driver, the motivation of doing an MBA. We talked about the end result that we want to achieve as part of the MBA. I think now the third part, the final part that we want to break the why MBA question into is the bridge between the driver and the end result, which is basically your academic year of doing an MBA. And I think it is very important to understand that what does this MBA really give you? Typically, an MBA gives you a much more broadened vision, right? Which kind of covers different domains. Could be finance, could be international finance, could be marketing, social media, strategy, all of these things. Now the point is that up till before MBA, you might have been looking at a problem statement in a more depth and probably at an eagle's point of view or eye of sight. Now with the MBA knowledge, you could probably take a step back, look at it from different domains, see how these second order environments kind of influence the same business problem, and probably be equipped to basically manage this in a much better way. That is the most important crux of the third part of this why MBA question.
So to summarize it, your why MBA is all about three things. Your starting point, which is your driver, your ending point, and how the MBA helps you bridge the two. Remember one thing, MBA is a management degree. It is supposed to make you better managers, better leaders in the future. And managers is all about making decisions. And what an MBA gives you is a holistic perspective of so many different subjects, so many different business aspects that would help you bring all of that knowledge to make a better and a much informed decision, right? And one thing which is very important is all of this story has to be your personal story, right? At the end of the interview, the panel should remember you after, say, interviewing 20, 30 people on that day. So it is very important. Your story makes you unique. So, try to sell your story through the lens of these three different aspects. With that, we are going to sign off today, but we have one last episode on this series, which is very interesting, which is about handling surprises in an MBA interview. So stay tuned for that. With it, we sign off. This is Dave.
And this is Sapta.
And we are Two to Tango.